Hi guys, my name is Justine. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about underconsumption core and de-influencing. Lately on TikTok, I've been seeing a lot of videos that are about underconsumption core. So they're basically a lot of people showing the flip side of what you tend to see on social media a lot, which is an overconsumption, flaunting of affluence and Target hauls, Shein hauls, things like that. So it's been really refreshing to see underconsumption core and de-influencing be popping up more frequently. And I'm like, I don't know if it's because we're in like a recession right now, like maybe that's why it's popping up a little bit more frequently, but I think and I hope that this becomes a more adopted way of thinking for the long term. Yeah, as I mentioned in the previous video, I was really struggling with the idea of how can I be an influencer? How can I be talking about beauty and fashion when I don't necessarily want people to get new things? And of course, if I ever end up doing any sponsorships or something like that down the road, it'll definitely be products that I genuinely think will improve my life and that I would recommend in my normal day-to-day life anyways. But yeah, today I wanted to talk about underconsumption, normalizing it, and ways that I reduced waste in my day-to-day life. So the first thing, as I touched upon just a few moments ago, that I want to talk about is makeup. I know that makeup has an expiry date on it, but in my opinion, if it is a powder product, if it's not like a liquid, like a mascara that you're putting on your eye, if it's a dry item, I'm gonna use it until it hits the pan. Like I'm gonna be using it to the last crumb. So as you can see, in other underconsumption videos and stuff, you've probably seen people showing their beaten up Naked 2 palettes, and I have one too. I don't really wear eyeshadow that frequently. Yeah, you can see some like hair and stuff stuck to this, and not very nice looking, but I've had this since like 2016 and it's still doing the trick. Like this is the amount that I have remaining. Basically completely full. I think that I could probably be using this for the rest of my life. And I also have this Too Faced Natural Face palette that my friend got me for Christmas in 2019. I pretty much use this every single day. Like this is my blush and this is like my bronzer. There's also a highlight in here that I use as well. So this is like the only face palette that I own. And yeah, I've been using it almost daily since 2019. And this is how much I have left. So yeah, I grew up always being taught to never waste anything. Like I grew up in a household that saved every single yogurt container to be used as Tupperware for the future. Like my mom, almost to the point of like excessively, would hold on to things. But it's been so ingrained in me that I need to use everything. I don't want to waste a single bit of product if it's still good. So yeah, I think number one for beauty products, as I mentioned before, if it's a powder, if it's not smelling weird, I would keep using it until it's completely finished. And I don't think that you necessarily need 14 different blushes that are a tiny shade apart. So that's kind of my mentality. Oh, I also have this Fenty highlighter that my friend gave me for Christmas 2019 as well, same friend. And so it's a highlighter stick. And you just need the tiniest little bit of the stick to do the job. And my friend and former roommate at the time would comment on how she really liked it. So I actually like cleaned it off and we sliced off a chunk for her to use, and it's still going strong. Like even after cutting off a chunk for her to keep, and she's just like kept it in a little container, the product's probably still gonna last for like 10 more years. Another thing in the beauty fashion sort of realm is I definitely try not to buy new clothing. I probably only buy a couple of pieces secondhand or new per year anyways, but something that I really love to do is purchase from local designers who are either using dead stock or recycled material to make their clothing, or if they're using new material, I feel okay that I'm supporting an artist and I'm not just supporting like Zara or something from the onset. I love to shop secondhand. I love to shop consignment. I love to also trade clothes with friends. So if I have some old clothes or shoes or something like that, I do ask my friends first if they would like it, so to keep it in the family. And I think it's great to like host mini parties where you all bring like a bag of clothes that you might not be wearing anymore and just swap them. So I think that's a really great way to mitigate the overconsumption of clothing, but you're still getting the feeling of having a new item. So I just touched on some local designers who use dead stock fabrics in their work. So for example, I have this really cute top made by Fortive, Michelle in Vancouver. She's awesome. A lot of the pieces are one of a kind or few of a kind because she gets her fabric and materials from a store called Our Social Fabric in Vancouver, which sells just a bunch of like discarded textile waste. So it's cool that you get to have like a unique item as well as repurposing these materials that might otherwise have gone to the landfill. For myself, I do feel more comfortable purchasing a brand new item if I know that it is supporting an artist directly. When I do buy new items, I try to make sure that I have a very good idea of what I want to do with the item, or that I know that I'm supporting somebody's work directly. So the next topic that I want to talk about is food waste. So one app that I really, really love is called Too Good To Go. And depending on the city that you live in, you might not have as much of a selection because businesses and restaurants have to sign up to be on the app. So it really depends how saturated the app is in your area. But for me, luckily, there is an organic grocery store near us. Basically, Too Good To Go has restaurants or grocery stores, cafes, sign up, and then at the end of the day, you get a mystery bag for a set price of food that is almost about to go bad, or like baked goods that aren't fresh anymore. You can get like a whole big bag of things for say $7. So we're lucky enough to have a grocery store, an organic grocery store nearby that we get bags from every week or two. And it's really fun because it's kind of like Chopped. You get a mystery bag of whatever ingredients tend to be in season at the time, and then we see what's in there and then we decide what we want to cook with it. So I love Too Good To Go. Another topic in the food and restaurant sort of field is Tupperware. So I do tend to bring a reusable container, or I try to, if I know that I'm going to a restaurant that I will have leftovers at. So I try to remember to bring my container, because even though in Vancouver, most of the packaging is supposed to be compostable these days, sometimes even with the compostable products, it can still take a really long time to break down. So I try to bring this guy whenever I can, whenever I remember. It just eliminates a little bit of packaging waste. So lastly, I want to touch upon building community. I think we have such a wide network of friends and family members that we can borrow from. So firstly, you may have heard of your Buy Nothing Facebook groups, your Buy Nothing neighborhood groups, and I think they are a great way to get to know your local community as well as get rid of things you don't need and ask for things you might need. So I think that we should really normalize sharing resources. For example, I just saw a friend the other day and we were talking about camping, and I don't camp very frequently, but over the last couple of years, my partner and I have acquired a decent amount of camping equipment, especially when we've gone camping with friends or family members who we used to borrow things from. So we're like, okay, maybe we're going camping enough that it is time to invest in our own camping goods. But yeah, I was talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about camping, and I said, if you ever need to borrow camping stuff, just ask us, because we use it 1 or 2 times a year and it is becoming an annual thing, but there's so many weeks and weekends of the year that it's not getting used. So having friends in your community that you can ask to borrow things from, sharing the wealth, sharing the resources, I also love the public library. So in the Vancouver downtown branch of the library, you can also rent music equipment. There's so many exciting things at the library. I love it. I think you should definitely support the library as well. Another thing that I do in my artistic practice is use recycled wood in a lot of my artwork. So my friend's brother, he makes furniture, so he sometimes has these offcuts of wood, which I then sand and clean up a little bit, and then I stain and then paint or draw on. So I think using materials that are natural as well as kind of scraps is also a way that I try to reduce waste in my life. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to me talk about underconsumption and trying to de-influence you from certain things. If you have any tips or things that you like to do in your regular life to reduce waste, I would love to hear them in the comments below. Maybe I can start incorporating some of those in my life too. Finch has made an appearance. Hi, baby. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.